All right, first gen Ranger fans, gonna make a little video here about how to change out an antenna mast. So we had a bit of a windstorm over here in New England about 6 months or so ago, and I lost my antenna mast. It must have just been degraded inside the post, but it broke off right where the threads start. You can't get it out. So I spent a few months sourcing a NOS antenna mast. Only bad news is it's a black one, so the base is black and the antenna's black. I'm gonna use the black antenna for now. I'm gonna order a chrome one. They've got them on LMC, but I need something to get me through so I can get some music into the old girl. So the biggest issue was getting these 30-plus-year-old screws out of the antenna base, and then once that's done, then the antenna base just lifts out. And I was happy to find that when my painter did 2 years worth of body work on this thing. He didn't take off the antenna mast, he just worked around it. So he must have given up on trying to get the bolts off, but I didn't have a choice, so here we are. All right, so the deal with this is you're gonna have to at least remove the speaker from the passenger side to get access to the antenna, which runs through the firewall right there, and then down over to the radio. So we're probably gonna have to take all of this out too in order to get the radio out, even though the radio is not really in there, it's just sort of laying in a space. I might be able to fidget around and get it out, but I don't think so. This is just a temporary radio anyways. We're gonna get a 2-knob flat face radio that will fit into the space without having to cut the dash, and yeah, that should look great. So the antenna kit I got off of eBay, and it is new old stock antenna, and it's built for several different models, and it comes with all the sort of wedges and everything that you'd need, including the antenna base, which is, as you can see, much cleaner and nicer than the one I have. And it's going to have, again, this is a black antenna, so I'm using the original chrome beauty plate that goes on top of the antenna mast stand, and I've got a black antenna for now, but it'll get me through. At least I'll be able to listen to some music occasionally. So that's where we're at, and I don't know, we got to work on getting that radio out next and getting this thing all straightened away so that I can get that cable in there. I think the hardest part is going to be getting this through the firewall, but we'll figure it out when we get there. All right. So like all easy projects, this turns into a total cluster, and you got to remove the entire dashboard. But if you haven't done one of these things, all these trim panels across the front here, these trim panels, they all pop off, and you got to be careful because you can break them. Like I broke that one, and that one's already broken, so I knew it was broken, but it's going to be a good opportunity for me to glue it. So when I put it back in, hopefully this will be one of the last times I take it apart, but I'll probably break it the next time I pull it apart. So you've got screws in here, these little nipples that hold everything together, and then you've got screws under the dash that hold this whole bezel in. So once the bezel's out, then you can get access to the radio, and then once you get access to the radio, you can unplug the antenna mast. So let's have at it. All right, so I've done this more than once, so it's pretty quick and easy for me, but if it's your first time, be very careful not to break that bezel, because they're really hard to get, and if you've got a good one, they're even harder to find. Just a couple of things, because I've had this dash off a few times, but those are all LED bulbs, so I switched those out. If you can get those through LMC, and they're much brighter, and you don't have to worry about them burning out and having to tear through your dashboard again. So they'll last pretty much forever, I guess. But there's my radio. It's a POS JVC. Don't laugh at it. It's gonna have a short life with me, but it's what I've got right now in the truck. So we're gonna get that done and get the antenna on it, and then we'll do speakers a little later today. So I'm gonna shoot up to Best Buy and just buy a pair of junk to throw into it. Nothing special right now, but we'll get there one step at a time. just want music. All right, so we get that antenna jack fished out. Now the challenge is to get it out through that firewall there and get it off the car. So this is actually going a lot smoother than I anticipated, but I'm prepared for the shitstorm that's about to come, so let's get into it. So it's not so easy to see, but there's a rubber boot over there inside the, you can kind of see so you see that little piece that's attached to that? That's part of the rubber boot, so the rubber boot's broken. At any rate, if I show you the new one, you can see the boot that's supposed to be on it. So this one's broken inside here. So I'm gonna use a long flathead to sort of help it through the firewall, and then I should be able to pull everything through. All right, so we get the old one out. Here's the boot. See, it's all broken in this one. It's no good. So we'll have to fish it through and pull it through, but it's all a mess, corroded and junky. So we'll be glad to have a new one in it. But look at this one, and it looks pretty similar, other than the fact that there's a right angle here, but I think there's enough space. The setup on, there's a little right angle here that's a little different than this one, but the setup was a little bit different, but I think it's gonna work just the same. It looks like it's the same, so we'll give it a try. All right, so that was a little bit of a challenge to get a fish through, but get a fish through, and then you're gonna give it a good tug to set that that rubber grommet in the firewall so you don't get any water. So that's in. Cable's hanging down, so we just have to fish it through to the radio. All right, here's the antenna mast. So it's through the antenna. You just need the stock rubber grommet, the rubber gasket that comes with this. You don't have to add any more of the different sized things on here, different sized gaskets. So now we're going to toss the 3 screws in there, tighten it up nice, and get it in there seated, and it should be good as gold. All right, so we get those 3 screws in. I wouldn't snug it down as tight as you can get it. I would say give it put it down till it's tight, and then give it like a quarter turn, just till it squeezes the gasket. You don't want to get it on there too tight, because if the gasket dries out, it'll crack. So you want to leave it just snug, that it's sealed so no water gets in there, but not so tight that you won't be able to get it off someday, like the one I just took off. All right, so I've got the little chrome deal here that goes on here, and it should just pop right in. There you go. All right, look at that, beautiful, just like it came out of the factory, almost, but that looks great. Like I'd said before, I've got a black mast that came with this kit. I don't know, we'll see how it looks, but I'm probably gonna switch over to chrome at some point. This bad boy, you're just gonna drop down inside the deal and try not to cross thread it first, and then give it a few turns, and then just seat it. Okay, so that should be good. All right, so there's our line, and now it fishes straight through, and we've got it hanging out here, and it's going to go back into the back of the radio here. That, and then put the radio back in and put the dash back together. So the secret here to this bezel, putting this thing back on, is to take it slow. Don't tighten any of the screws down until you've got everything set into a screw hole, because if you tighten one down and then you try to wiggle it, you're gonna crack something. So just go slow, loose with everything until you get everything in, and then slowly tighten everything down one at a time, sort of like putting on a tire, and then you'll be guaranteed you will not crack anything, because the last thing you want to do is break this bad boy, because you'll be into a couple $100 for a solid replacement. All right, so we got everything tagged in here. Like I said, just like anything else in this car, like I just snug it up. I don't crank down on anything, because this stuff, if it jiggles at all, it's old, it's gonna crack. So I just give it a tighten it till it's snug, and then I give it a quarter turn, and then that's it. And then the next time I need to take it off to work on something, it's easy to get off. But I also took the opportunity to sort of, I know the radio's in a weird position, but I also I just got it stuffed in there. So we're gonna get a 2-knob push button, something that's more accurate, but with a flat panel that'll fit in a single din. I've been looking at a couple of them, but no money right now, so a little at a time. We're gonna get speakers and at least get some music. All right, kids, we get everything back together again. Dash is all put back together, no worse for the wear. Still gonna get speakers today, so we're gonna run out and do that, and then I'll follow up the video with the speaker install, which hopefully won't be too big of a deal. All right, so we got the antenna mast on, looking good. Glad that's done. Actually, don't mind the black antenna mast. I don't know, it sort of fades away a little bit. Might look better for pictures. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna get a chrome one, put it on, see which one I like better, but we're at that. So we got some speakers to do in a little bit, and we'll have some music, and then maybe do a little spray wax and get on the road and take a ride, listen to some tunes. Sound good? I'm in. So that'll wrap it up for the antenna video. I'm gonna do a separate video for the speakers. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button, and thanks for watching this old Ford Ranger. Hope you found something valuable.